Hey guys, and welcome to a very special TOEFL Success podcast. I'm your host, Mark, and today we're talking about a problem many students face: being stuck at the 80 to 85 score range. If this sounds like you've been studying hard, you understand a lot, but your TOEFL score doesn't go higher than 85. Don't worry, you are not alone. In this episode, I'll show you the top grammar, vocabulary, and test strategy mistakes that keep students stuck at this level. And more importantly, how you can fix them. At the intermediate to upper intermediate level, grammar errors are usually small, but they can cost you points in speaking and writing. For example, let's look at mistake number 1. I have visited New York last year. How can we correct that? That's right, it would be I visited New York last year. So why does this matter? Well, TOEFL raters notice when you confuse tenses because it shows a gap in accuracy. So now let's look at mistake number 2. Many students write or speak in short, simple sentences. For example, I like reading. I think it's interesting. I read every day. Well, let's expand on that and smooth that out a bit. A better version would be I enjoy reading because it helps me relax, and I try to read a little every day. So here's a quick tip. For TOEFL writing and speaking, use a mix of simple and complex sentences. This shows academic level control. Alright, so next, let's look at some vocabulary mistakes. Vocabulary is one of the biggest reasons students get stuck in that 80 to 85 range. So a lot of students overuse basic words. Always saying things like good, bad, big, small. Very basic, right? TOEFL raters want to hear more precise vocabulary. So instead of good, try beneficial. Or instead of bad, you could say something like challenging. Instead of big, you might say significant. And instead of small, you might say something like minor. These words are more precise. Next, let's look at incorrect collocations. Instead of saying do a conclusion, which I heard yesterday from a student, you would have to say reach a conclusion. The tip here is to learn academic collocations, not just single words. Academic English often uses word partnerships like conduct research, pose a question, and reach a conclusion. These sound natural and will give you a higher score in TOEFL speaking and writing. Next, let's look at test strategy mistakes. Even if your grammar and vocabulary are strong, strategy mistakes can hold you at the 80 to 85 level. One mistake here is mismanaging time in reading and listening. Some students spend too long on one question and rush the rest of the test. I tended to do that on my math tests when I was in school, so I completely understand. On TOEFL reading, remember, each passage is worth the same number of points. So don't get stuck on one detail, okay? And the final mistake is not following the task in speaking and writing. For example, in the TOEFL writing integrated task, students sometimes give their opinion instead of summarizing the lecture and reading. That's an automatic loss of points. So do your best to follow the task. Always check the instructions carefully. TOEFL graders reward answers that are complete and directly on task. So to recap, the top mistakes that keep students stuck at the 80 to 85 range are 1. Grammar errors like tense confusion and short repetitive sentences. 2. Vocabulary mistakes, including overusing basic words and using the wrong collocations. And 3, weak test strategies, such as poor time management and not following the task. If you focus on these areas, you can break out of the 80 to 85 plateau and move towards 95 or even 100. Thanks for joining me today on this special TOEFL podcast. If you found this episode helpful, subscribe and share it with a friend who is also preparing for TOEFL. And also, how about a free online face-to-face lesson with me, Mark, at mksenglish.com? Remember, improvement doesn't happen overnight, but with smart strategies, you can reach your target goal. Hop on over to mksenglish.com. I look forward to meeting you.